Yep.
All right, let's now move along to the defensive side of the ball. And Matt LaFleur was asked about the pass rush today, guys. I'm not trying to toot our own horn, but anytime this happens, I want to point out, like, if we thought we were wrong on how we evaluated the pass rush and what the tape shown on how they were rushing the quarterback, I'd be the first to say, man, we got that one wrong. It was bad, right? But from early on, it's like this pass rush is not pinning its ears back, right? Matt LaFleur was asked today, if you'll give me a screen grab here, Tim. I got an audio from Matt. And again, I'll try to get the volume as high as I can, guys. I apologize for everybody watching live. Matt LaFleur was asked about improving the pass rush this year, all right? And I want you to hear what he puts emphasis on. He could have said anything. He could have said, yeah, we got to close the gap and we got to hit home with the quarterback. We got to get more aggressive and get upfield quicker. We got to win our one-on-one back. He could have said all these things, right? Listen what Matt LaFleur said when he was asked on improving the pass rush.
Where do you think improvement in the pass rush can come this year?
Well, I think just some of the stuff that we've been talking over, I think the guys have a really good understanding of when we do rush for what everybody's responsibility is. I think that we're going to be a little cleaner in our rush lanes and not allowing big gaps up front to allow, whether it's quarterbacks stepping up or scrambling. So, as far as I can tell, the communication's been great. I think DC's done a great job. I was just talking to Kenny Clark about it, as a matter of fact, earlier today, and just in terms of the technique, the level of detail which he coaches, his ability to communicate, his ability to bring great energy to that room. So I'm looking forward to it, but ultimately there's a long way to go between now and then, and our guys got to continue to dig at all the little details of everything that we're trying to teach them.
So again, you can drop that down now, Tim. We'll just leave it up there. So when he was asked about improving the pass rush this year, Matt LaFleur continues to put emphasis on rush lane integrity, is essentially what he's talking about. How many times did we talk about this year? Like, you can see Kenny Clark playing a touch spy where he's not even going after the quarterback. Sure. You can see LVM playing patty cake on the outside, but keeping his eye on the rush lane, right? That was the goal going in. Control and contain the run game. Shut the run down first and foremost. We finished second in the league in yards per carry allowed. And then we finished ninth. While doing that, we finished ninth in sacks on the year. I'm telling you, man, I'm just proud of the way we covered this and the way it's why you need to watch the tape. Well, and, I don't mean to call him out. I see it.
I was just going to say.
This is the perfect example. We might have the worst group of pass rushers in the league. It's unacceptable how poor the production is. We finished eighth. We finished eighth or ninth in the league in sacks, right? We had a legit top 10 pass defense. We had the number 2 run defense. Again, if you watch the tape, you will see it. I was mind-boggled seeing the former player, and I'm not going to say his name. He can't rush the passer. LVN, he just can't rush the passer. And I'm like, you're a former player. Like, you've got to be able – if a dumb redneck who's never played collegiate football, damn sure never sniffed the NFL, can see on tape, man, they're not really pinning their ears back here. It kind of looks like they're controlling the rush lanes. How the hell do you not see it? And you played in the league? Like, it blows me away, man. It absolutely blows me away that people still could not see that. And again, it's the box score readers. Typically, it's well, I mean, you look at where they're at. Look at what okay. Anyway, I digress. I'm just saying it. I love it when Matt points this stuff out because it's so freaking obvious when you turn on the tape. When you turn on the box cam, if you're watching highlights, you're going to miss it. I promise you. But I don't know. Anybody else see it any different than that than me? Because when I heard him say that, I went, "We got another one right. Good deal. We're on the right track."
Yeah, Mr. Jefferson, I would implore you to go back to the last 2 episodes and look at when we broke down the actual statistical rankings that we finished with. Not that we were projected with, that we finished with. And I would also go back and try to find Ryan's podcast where he talks about how the posts on the second half of the season, our guys were killing it. Specifically, even guys like LVN, Gary, my boy Brenton Cox Jr., I'm talking they were over 15%, some of them over 18%. Some of our D tackles like Wyatt and I believe there's one other even were like cracking over 10%. And you're just like, okay. So I understand that maybe you don't feel that we had the type of defense that you would like to have as far as being a flashy defense. But like to Clay's point, being able to be second in run defense, as far as
you can't stop everything. You
can't stop everything, but then to be second in run defense and then 9th overall in sacks, I just don't. That's production, my friend. That is the definition of production.
You want to be really good at both of those attributes, right? You want to be as good as you can. Your teams are usually going to be maybe a little better at one than the other. Some teams are more balanced, but yeah, it's hard to stop everything, man. That's what this game is designed to do, right? And defense is my favorite side of the ball. I think it's more difficult to play defense, especially in the modern game, the modern NFL. And you're constantly reactive. So it's really tough to shut everything down. It really is.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to maybe
go ahead.
No, just real quick, one point. I think it's fair to criticize situational times where it's like we really needed a sack on this drive and nobody showed up, because I feel like that's 100%. And I don't want to put words in James's mouth, but I remember being a Packer fan on certain downs and you're like, you just didn't show up for this series. Okay, I guess we'll just give him the ball back. Like,
right. And
I think that's what he means by deceiving, right? It seems seem deceiving because there are times when, the hell with gap integrity, we're teeing off, we're sending 5, 6, we're sending the dogs and still nobody gets home. I think that's where the frustration can kind of come into play, because you're not running a stunt, or you're not doing anything super crazy. You're trying to get home and you're not. So I can see how it can be definitely deceiving for sure.
Yeah. And I want to say this, James, nobody's saying the pass rush was perfect. Nobody here's saying that. Nobody's saying it can't improve. We're simply saying you've got to choose what you're going to stop. You can't be, first in sacks and first in run defense. Like, go look through history. It's if it happens, it's extremely rare. So, it's just like people who were screaming they wanted to play man coverage. You could play man coverage, and you could play bump and run and deter the short routes in the RPO game. You can do that. But what's the negative aspect? Your run defense is going to dip because your guys have their back to the ball playing press. And if you get beat over the top in anything less than too high shell, which if it's too high shell, they're running the ball down your throat as well. They're going to hit you over the top for explosive play. So you can't take everything away. Right. And I thought Hafley just played it absolutely perfect. And I see in the chat, it's been a big talking point, we had 8 sacks in one game. That skews the numbers. If we're going to play that game, then what we've got to do, guys, is you've got to go for the rest of the league and take the game that each team had the most sacks from their game and remove one game, and let's compare apples to apples. Like, the fact that we're looking at a game where we got 8 sacks as a negative blows my mind. Me and Emilio were in the stadium for that game. And I'm going to tell you why they ended up getting 8 sacks. Because they pinned their ears back because they got off to an early lead. Emilio, am I wrong?
No, you're exactly right. And we were talking about that on the defense yesterday. It was just like the situational time where we were able to actually be in third and 13 or third and 15. How many times were we put in that situation where we could pin it back and go? Besides that, where everyone was screaming about stopping the run for years, and you're not happy with that, and you give up a couple of passes here and there, fine. But we got, and I think sometimes maybe when you wanted us to be off the field, maybe those didn't happen. But our defense got off the field more times than not, and did give our offense a lot of opportunity. I think that's where you kind of need to see that those numbers might not tell the full story.
I remember, and it's a game of adjustment, right? It's a constant cat and mouse and game of adjustment. You take away a couple of runs and you're going to get a check down, or you're going to get a check out or a can, and it's play action and they're taking a shot. I mean, that's just how the game is. Hopefully you can adjust and have your personnel where it needs to be,
Yeah. And I remember looking at Mandy when we were down there at that game, and it was almost a halftime. And I said, one more score, and you turn the damn dogs loose. Like, you're this close, right? Because you don't want to get too aggressive and let a team back in the game. If what you're doing is working, you just kind of slowly choke them out, slowly press in, right? Mm-hmm. J. Cole says there was one time in that Eagles game where Hurts had like 10 seconds in the pockets. I specifically remember that play. Pissed me off. I remember exactly what you're talking about, Jay. Yep. But on the flip side, if you were to play devil's advocate, it's like you're playing a lot of contain on Hurts because you don't want him to torch you. Like, I personally want Jalen Hurts to have to beat me through the air rather than giving him a rush lane where I think he ended up having a long run too, didn't he?
I was going to say coverage must have been pretty good down the field if he was standing back there like Caleb Williams for 10 seconds, you know.
But I do remember one play where he broke out of the pocket. It's like that's what you're trying to prevent. And again, it doesn't mean that's all you key in on. And you're constantly trying to play the situation at hand, right? So, and I know everybody in the chat,
right bumper. You know, we're quarterback contained every single time, man. I'm not playing that game. I'm not playing that game.
Is that what this button's for, Emilio?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool.
It's hilarious. All right, let's move it along here. We spent way too much time on the pass rush. But again, I thought it was cool that Matt said that, again, because it's not to go, we got it right. It's nice when you watch the tape. And he said it all. It's just like the year before when they were, the media kept talking about, do you think you should play with more defensive linemen? And Matt was like, well, y'all are exposing yourself. Our outside linebackers are defensive ends. Like, y'all don't even realize that? Like, those little moments where, things kind of click. I think it's important to just try to learn as a fan. I know I'm trying to learn every day. So up next, you got Matt LaFleur talking about Edgerrin Cooper. Give me another screen grab here, Tim. I think you know which one I need here. There it is. That's what I'm talking about. Here was Matt LaFleur talking about Edgerrin Cooper putting on 20 pounds of damn muscle and not losing any explosion.
How different Cooper looks coming in. I think he spent the offseason training here, if I'm not mistaken. I understand everyone looks like they're in good shape this time of year, but what have you seen from
Not everybody.
There it is. Not everybody. Hey, take that screen grab down, Tim. Look at this. He said, I understand everybody. Matt Schneider said, I understand everybody's in good shape. And Matt went, not everybody. What do you see his face right here? Look. We might. Hey, you know what? Let me grab that one right now, Tim. We got us a new screen grab. We got to get that one.
We're going to put that one up there with Heffley. That's the side eye. I love it.
This whole talking point is going to be about Edgerrin Cooper, okay? I want to make that clear. However, I got to ask you guys, who's he talking about? Who's he talking about here? Who came in out of shape? Who do you think it is, Emilio?
Hey.
Emilio said it's first guy I'm going to cut. It's Matt Orsic.
Yeah, I don't know who came in out of shape.
You know he's not going to say Travis Glover.
Do. I was just going to say, you know who it is, baby.
It's not TG. Travis Glover.
TG.
There's no way he came in.
It was Travis Glover. Putting a poll question up right now. Was Travis Glover show up at OTAs out of shape?
Here's what happened. Travis Glover finally got a hold of all the secret messages that Emilio's been sending him on Twitter and X and all that. So he followed him back. Then he figured out, oh man, this boy's got the Twinkie connection. He starts eating the cannolis and the Twinkies and all that. And before you know it, he's too fat. He's too fat. Too fat.
Keep talking, boys.
Is it really Travis Glover that came in out of shape?
Absolutely, yeah. Known fact now. You didn't know that?
I just don't see it. I think he's too much of a dog to let that happen.
Well, I just started a poll question here, okay? Here's the question, guys. Everybody on YouTube, make sure you go vote. Did Travis Glover show up to OTAs out of shape? Yes or yes?
This is a scientific poll, guys. This is scientific.
Give me that screen grab back, Tim. Let's talk some Edgerrin Cooper here, man. Sorry, I just want to point that out that Matt's on somebody's ass about being a little chubby. And believe me, I'm chubby myself. I relate.
Not everybody looks like they're in good shape.
In these last couple months coming into year two.
Yeah, he is, we were talking about it earlier on the grass when we went out there, and just how much more, he's so much more confident. Certainly his body looks different. I don't know if you guys could tell, but he's like 240 pounds right now. And I think there was a time when we came back last year where he was like 220. So the added weight, and he still looks like he's moving as good as he did a year ago. So I'm really excited about him. Just his understanding of the detail of what he's supposed to do, and those around him, I think, are going to allow him to play that much faster, which is pretty exciting.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited about Edgerrin Cooper putting on some muscle, man. 20 pounds of freaking muscle. And we got a video here as well. I'm going to pull it up. We'll just let it play in the background. They got him.
And to that point, Clay, Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper only had one start together.
Yep.
One start, and it was the playoff game against Philly. It's like if as both of them as starting backers.
Are you serious? One start?
Yeah,
is that real?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
one start all season together where they're both starting linebackers, where they both are on there as starting linebackers, because Cooper was hurt on and off. He didn't even start taking starts until, mid later on in the season. That's when Coy got hurt. Then, you had Eric Wilson blow up for a couple games. Everybody thought he was going to be amazing, and he was going to be the savior. So I'm really, really excited about that inside backer.
Speaking of Quay, we're looking at the inside group here. Where's Quay? I didn't see him on Schneidman's list today.
Tim, why do you got to do this to me?
He was there, but I thought he was under the designation of recouping or
rehab
recovery.
group. Okay,
rehab
group.
Okay. Fairly sure.
Because I know some of the defensive reps, they were saying that it was McDuffie, Cooper, and Tyron Hopper.
Yeah. And Welch. What do you guys think about Welch?
I love Welch. I hope he makes the team, but I got
too.
my hopes up last year and it didn't happen. So
yeah,
good practice squad guy, Tim.
Yeah,
what about
probably.
Cooper though? Look, I mean, you can see it in Cooper. My man is thick. And I just want to point this out. Look at this poor bastard right here.
I thought that was Jacob.
He's like, oh God. You see,
you got to hold the back of the dummy because they can move a 4-person blocking dummy. We need a guy to hold anchor.
Let's hear Cooper hit this a couple times. You want to? Let's crank it up here. See what we got.
Oh boy!
Oh yeah. But Hopper out there. Water
pick Tyron Hopper up.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I think he's going to be a dog this year. I'm telling you, I've been watching the Packers probably a lot, not near as long as everybody hearing my voice. I've been very vocal. I've become a Packer fan right around 2002, 2003. And which is funny, 23 years now. It's crazy how fast. It seems like it was yesterday, my first time at Lambeau. But I have never seen them draft a linebacker where it's like, as soon as he gets significant play time, you go, oh, this is different. I've never seen an inside linebacker. The closest thing I've seen is Clay Matthews, but obviously him being an edge defender, it's totally different, right? At the inside position, I have never seen a linebacker after becoming a Packer fan like Edgerrin Cooper. I'm trying not to overreact, but the stuff that he did both on tape and you look statistically, the havoc, all the stuff this dude looks like if he continues to improve and he stays healthy, he's going to be a Fred Warner type player. I believe that. And that's crazy to think about. That you got that in the second round, and for everyone that's critical of Goody and rightfully so for the early draft classes, boy, he knocked that one out of the park.
I agree.
All 32 teams passed on him, Jacob. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And I remember that draft. Obviously, we did our research. I wish I could sit here and tell you that Edge Cooper was my number one. I think I had him as my number 2 or 3. But situationally, because of just some odd injuries to the other guys, and he just, for whatever reason, I didn't give him enough due diligence. And like you said, I would argue the closest thing that we've had to a rookie linebacker coming in and producing the way he did, AJ Hawk. Other than that, I don't think there's anything even close to it for 30 years, maybe more. Maybe you got guys like Nick Barnett. Maybe I had some hopes for it a while. I remember when Desmond Bishop flashed for a while, but that's all I can remember. There's not many, Bryce Pop. Remember going back that far? Exactly.
Good old Bryce Pop. Braden Fielding in the chat said, I didn't want to steal your idea, Clayton, but I stole your idea. I got the away Cooper jersey today with the Michael Myers patch on the way.
Nice.
Hey, let's create a trend, Braden. I'm going to do the same thing, buddy. I'm going to get it on the way and get the Michael Myers patch as well.
Mandy's already got it in the cart. Don't worry, Clay. She got you.
See, that's how Mandy operates. She's like, if I buy him a $200 jersey, then I can spend $600 somewhere else.
Smart. She's smart.
It always triples, no doubt.
But I am excited about that interior linebacker, man. We got the new coach, right? And as well, Greg Cosell always says the speed of your defense is based off your inside linebackers. That's where that's where the speed can be maxed out and capped. And I think that we saw having that ability and speed with Cooper last year really opened up the defense. And let's see him and Quay starting together for 18 weeks.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. One last thing here as we're already over on time. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us, man. It's been a fun episode. I can't wait for training camp. Our live coverage of training camp is going to be great. Wanted to talk about the first team group here, as Rob Domofsky tweeted out. First group on defense, and the base defense, your base 4-3, was Gary and LVN at edge, and they had Wooden and Wyatt in the interior. Again, Wooden's not going to start over Kenny Clark. We know that to be the case, but it kind of does make you think maybe Wooden is the guy who's, leading the charge, and that maybe the guy who's going to take over for TJ Slayton type thing. Could be the case. He was a higher draft pick than Carl Brooks, although I would say that I felt like Carl Brooks performed better than Kobe Wooden, and Kobe Wooden battled injuries. But I think Wooden might be one to watch for here. And again, you guys know how I feel. I wanted a 3-tech. I wanted them to go and get a 3-tech and somebody they could rotate in, whether it's play them 1 or 2I, being that kind of that versatile guy, that guy moving forward as Kenny moves on. It probably won't be here next year, I would imagine. That's one that I don't have a lot of hope in Wooden, but maybe they're giving him every opportunity to prove he's taking the next step. At linebacker, they had McDuffie, Cooper, and Hopper, right? Which, as you guys pointed out, Quay, it sounds like he may have been with the rehab group. At cornerback, they had Nixon and Hobbs, all right? And then at safety, they had McKinney and Williams. Now, they said that when they went to nickel, Hobbs went to the slot and Valentine came in on the outside.
Let's go.
Here's the big noteworthy point here, though. And I'm with you, Tim. I'm a big Valentine guy. He proved he won me over last year. It sounds like Bullard, and again, it's early, and I started the whole show with don't overreact, but it does kind of sound like Bullard's slipping to the back a little bit, right?
Don't say that.
Yeah,
I think they want him to be a safety so bad.
It sounds like it, right?
They really do. They want him to be that guy, but I mean,
there it is in the nickel. Hobbs bumped inside, and Valentine was at right cornerback with Nixon staying outside. So there you go.
Wow. Yeah, I'm just saying he's Bull's up against he's up against Evan Williams. He's got Xavier McKinney back there. I mean, we got Zane Anderson. Yes, he's real. Yeah. There's some talent in the safety room. We know about Goody's magical offseason of completely gutting and flipping that room. So it's a little tough, I think, for Bullard to kind of find a role in the safety room when his strength appears to be playing in the slot. I will say this: hopefully he makes that step this year, and we're even better for it, because I think if we have that kind of depth, and then you can still move guys around. Hey, guys get banged up, they miss weeks. If Nate Hobbs becomes that nickel guy, that inside guy, that slot guy, and he has to miss a week or two, you can always put Bullard back down in there, hopefully, and not miss a beat. So, but I think the plan seems to be that they want Javon Bullard to be a safety in this defense.
Well,
and back to defensive line real quick. I'll come to you here, Jacob. Ed Madden says, I don't think Wooden has the size to take Slayton's place. It's not that he's looking to take Slayton's spot, but what they did last year, Kenny has played nose. There's this big misconception that Kenny never plays nose. Kenny plays 1-tech in the defense that's on the field the majority of the time in our nickel 4-2-5. So there was many times that you've seen TJ Slayton line up at 1-tech in the 4-3, but also he'd go 2I, he would go 3-tech. They move those guys around based on the matchup and the tendencies of the opponent they're playing that week. So I'm not saying that Wooden has the size to completely replace the TJ Slayton and what kind of his superpower is, but the way that 4-3 front works, there's a little bit of maneuverability. And again, that 278 can go to 288 like that, right? And so on and so forth. Now, Carl Brooks actually played more 1-tech since he's been in the league than even I think TJ Slayton did, which is crazy to think about, because Carl Brooks wasn't playing nose in our base 4-3, but again, we're not in that base 4-3 very often. So just want to point that out. I'm with you. I know he's not TJ Slayton's size, but go ahead, Jacob. What were you going to say, Bob? I think you were talking about corners or DBs maybe.
I was. Just before I forget, though, I love this. Dave MX Garcia says, Baldy's a big fan of Cooper Brian Baldinger. He says he calls him urgent care for his instant diagnosis. I love
that. and I love that point. That's why I love watching Baldy's breakdown so much, because he really breaks down the inner workings of these players and the game. But we talk so much about Edgerrin Cooper's ability physically. What we're not talking about is FBI and the football IQ that he showed as a rookie who was cheated of most of his preseason and most of training camp due to injury. A guy who kind of got thrown out there and had to kind of sink or swim. And we obviously know how he finished out his years. So I think that's awesome that Baldinger mentions that, you know what I mean? Because I don't think Edgerrin Cooper gets enough credit for the mental aspect of the game that he possesses. He processes the game so fast. It's almost, I might be getting a little ahead of myself, but it reminds me kind of the way Luke Kuechly, if you guys watch any tape on Luke Kuechly, the way
he's amazing.
He could just sniff out a play before the coach called it and just knew what you were doing. And I see a lot of that in Edgerrin Cooper's game. So don't overlook that aspect, man. The guy's definitely has high football IQ for sure.
Yeah. Here was a tweet from Ryan Wood about Javon Bullard. We'll wrap up here. He said, Javon Bullard not taking team reps. Going to be real interesting where he slides into the secondary. Currently a 3-man rotation at safety with Xavier McKinney, Evan Williams starting, and Zane Anderson rotating in behind them. Now, maybe there's something there that Ryan tweeted about later that I didn't see or what have you, but it does kind of feel like, I mean, based off what we've seen in the short amount of snaps from Zane Anderson last year, boys, he impressed the hell out of me. I mean, that guy just came in and he was laying the wood and he was around the football.
What about our boy Oladapo?
That's crazy too.
Yeah. And again, that's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah, I mean, the safety room kind of looks like the receiver room right now, right? It's a lot of talent in there.
Yeah. I was a little concerned that Javon Bullard was just going to go back to safety and they would bury Evan Williams on the depth chart. I'm okay with Bullard playing if he's the better safety. But based off what we've seen, I feel like Evan Williams is. Go ahead, Jake.
I agree. Just like to what Tim and you just said, I feel like that the most underrated room right now, even if Jair leaves, is the secondary, more specifically that cornerback room, though, because I want to go on a limb. I do believe that I think Carrington Valentine is going to be a starter in this league, and I think he's going to be good. Opposite him, I'm not quite sold on Keyshawn Nixon. I think that might be the definition of a progress stopper for this team right now. That's the only thing that I'm a little bit hesitant with. But also, I think we forgot about the fact that we drafted a guy named Micah Robinson. Like Tim says, we have guys from last year, Mr. Kalen King, who people have talked about and said, hey, man, don't sleep on him. He's actually doing well. His DB's coach went out of his way to say, hey, he's definitely improved. There's also, underneath the post that you had mentioned earlier, I can't remember if it was Ryan Wood or somebody else went on to say, hey, don't sleep on Gregory Jr., a guy that was a recent draft pick that was at the Jaguars. He looks like he can play. This is a few guys that a lot of people aren't thinking about. We still have guys like Kamal Haddon and Omar Brown and Jonathan, guys that I know me and Tim loved Omar Brown coming out of the draft. Obviously, Katana Oladapo. That secondary is filled with a bunch of guys that aren't proven, but have the talent out of the wazoo.
Yep.
I love it. Rick Kruger says the chat room is underrated, and Holmes immediately fires back and says this chat sucks. Love it. You guys have been awesome tonight, man. Y'all have lit it up for sure. We're way over. Anything else y'all want to hit on before we wrap up, fellas? Anything at all?
No, that was great, and great points by Jacob there. Just kind of putting a bow on the secondary talk. You know, talking about Bullard. You know, you wonder like where is the spot for him? You know, you think maybe if we lose Jair, you know, if Jair is not a Packer, does Bull move over to corner? But it's like we talk about the coverage skills, right? We talked about things that he needs to improve in his game. So it's like I feel like the best foot forward for a guy like him is safety, but he's in a talented safety room. So bottom line, again, I don't want that staff's job trying to get this down to 53 guys. Good luck trying to figure out who stays and goes.
Yeah, and I feel like Bullard played his best football in the slot personally. Yep. That doesn't mean he should play in the slot this year. And, you know, because you got Nate Hobbs, and if they see him as, hey, that's the slot corner, that's the slot corner. But I feel like he played his best football there. But again, man, it takes time. It takes time for these guys to develop and kind of come into their own, you know. Yep. What year I get so caught, like once we move on from the draft, I don't see these guys as rookies or what year they're in now. What year will this be for Javon Bullard? Remind me. This will be his second
year two.
Yeah. So there's been so many great players in the league that it took that. You know, Trey Hendrickson, everybody's in love with Trey Hendrickson. He's just, you know, the sack king and blah, 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 blah. His first 3 years in the league, he was cheeks. So I've got to slow down. I'm speaking to myself. I got to slow down, stop trying to, not that I'm trying to write people off, but it's just, you move on to the next best thing. You just kind of bury them and move on, right? It's definitely not the right way to do it. So anyway, the right way to support what we do here at Packers Total Access is check out our Patreon group, patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. Make sure if you are interested in becoming a member, there's multiple tiers, but the $3 tier gets you everything. We're going to be doing a giveaway this Saturday, giving away an autographed Lucas Van Ness rookie card. Okay. We're going to be doing that for everybody who is a member of the $3 tier. We're going to put their name on the wheel, spin that sucker live on the show Saturday night, and give that autographed rookie card away. We've got a bunch of giveaways coming up. It's just a way for us to give back to those who are supporting the channel. You get exclusive content in there, and it's also an easy way to get a hold of us and get questions into the show and all that good stuff. So go ahead, Jacob. You got anything else, man?
Well, Holmes wants to know what were the poll results.
Let's look at the poll results real quick.
Come on.
And that is not the end total of Jacob's tip jar after a shift at the office. Not those poll results, right?
Well,
no, we do not want to see those poll results. That poll needs to be cleaned. I promise you that. Promise you that. All right, let's see. I think we got it right here. Let me get the screenshot up. We've got the poll results in. I wish Emilio was here so we could bask in the glory of how this poll went. Let me throw this up while we're waiting here.
Oh, my gosh.
That's Baby Billy. All right, just so you know. Here we go. Did Travis Glover show up to OTAs out of shape? Yes, 87% leading the way. And coming in second place was yes at 13.
Oh, man.
Sorry, Emilio. People have spoken.
It was the freest and fairest election of all time.
The safest election of all time. Yeah, I'll just say this. There's going to be somebody go, are you spreading rumors about Travis Glover being out of shape? It was a joke. If you're new here, Emilio he's got like 16 Travis Glover jerseys. He's got the action figures. He's tore the heads off of G.I. Joe figures and put a little picture of Travis Glover on. He's really weird about Travis Glover. So that's what it is. But all right, that's it. We're out, guys. We'll see you.